Hey, hello, my name is Todd Schaefer, and I run two local businesses here in Santa Cruz. Schaefer Design, a branding, print, and web development company, and GiveMeAPing.com, their local WordPress web hosting company. This next speaker and I have known each other for several decades, probably around 25 years. I'm one of the few that actually knows his last name, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people probably don't. We worked together at Chaminade at Santa Cruz up on the hill. I was the manager of guest services, and he worked in the audiovisual department. There we learned the hospitality industry, and that was pretty interesting, as you can imagine. There's lots of people that come and go up to Chaminade. And we learned how to deal with the difficult situations on a day-to-day basis. Excellent training for our future endeavors. I'm honored to introduce my longtime friend with the unique personal brand of Just Chip.
I know his last name too. I am Chip. You know, I was gonna, Matthew told me I had 10 minutes. My first 5 minutes was gonna be on Ted's hair. So can we just sit here for 5 minutes? I am Chip. I'm the executive director of the Downtown Association. And I also wear a couple of other hats or have a couple of other jobs. I'm the co-director along with my wife, Abra Allen, of First Friday Santa Cruz. And I'm the technical director of Motion Pacific Presents, which is a dance presenting organization housed out of Motion Pacific Dance Studio here at downtown Santa Cruz. And I'm usually up to one or two other silly things that are similar, and I'll talk about how they're similar. About a year ago, Crystal Burns and I brought the first Pechacucha night to Santa Cruz, and that's been going on steadily for a while. And so I do a lot of different things, and when Matthew asked me to talk about this, I asked about the open bar. I swear he said yes. And I started thinking about, okay, what is this event Santa Cruz? What does that mean? And I didn't really get past the name, because events and Santa Cruz are two things that I'm very, very interested in, very experienced with. I've been presenting events, promoting events, designing events, been partaking in a variety of events in Santa Cruz for about a quarter of a century, and I love it. And when I boil it down to what I do, in all of these roles, it's about audience development, which, excuse me, what that really means is about trying to convince you to do interesting things. Does anybody here get our email from the Downtown Association every week? This week, downtown. Kim Luke, my partner in the Downtown Association, every week puts together basically a to-do list. These are all the interesting things we found that you should be coming down to do. And again, we're trying to get you to participate in culture. Trying to get you to be a part of the interesting community that is Santa Cruz, because without your participation, it's just events. With your participation, it is culture, and it's exciting, and it's what makes Santa Cruz interesting. Whether we're trying to get you to come down to find Waldo, which is something we had a lot of fun with this summer, or trying to get you to come to a basketball game, or a roller derby game, or a book signing, or concerts at Kumba, Blue Lagoon, Catalyst, the Symphony, etc., or to come play in the snow. It's all about getting you to come participate. Excuse me. I always forget to breathe when I talk. Does anybody else do that? We understand as presenters, as promoters, we're asking you to take a risk when we do this. And we understand that, and a lot of what we do is try and minimize that risk or reduce the risk and sometimes even hide the risk. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. About 10 years ago, my friend Kirby Scudder and I, Kirby's now the director of the Santa Cruz Institute of Contemporary Arts over at the Tannery, and an all-around great troublemaker. We opened a gallery downtown, and then we opened another gallery, and then we opened another gallery. And what we found pretty much right away was we were overwhelmed with artists wanting to come show their work. And we had lots and lots of people, and they were all artists who wanted to come show their work. So there was an imbalance in the artist-audience ratio there, and we talked a lot about how do we develop more of an audience for visual art in Santa Cruz. And we came up with this idea that was by no means an original idea, but we figured let's try it. We talked to everyone who was showing art on a regular rotating basis downtown. At the time, Full Support Gallery was down here. Felix Culpa, who's still like the best gallery in the galaxy, was down here, a handful of other places. And then we got coffee shops. The Santa Cruz County Bank has been on First Friday since day one. We basically said, let's all do an event on the first Friday of every month, promote it, get people to come down. Here's how it takes out the risk for you. You don't know any of the artists in my gallery. You're not compelled to come see that. You don't know the scene there, but your mechanic's sister has a show at Azar, so you're going to go to that because you were invited, you have a connection, and while you're down there, you've already made the effort, you're going to go next door to the attic to Felix Culpa, and then we create a scene because there's no risk for you because you already know what you're getting. Similarly, Pachacucha. You went to see Pachacucha at the museum because you know Jeff Dunn, and you know he's going to make you laugh, and he's going to tell you an interesting story, and you're going to have a blast. You didn't know you were going to meet Bryant Austin and see these amazing photographs of whales that he shot in the South Pacific and now is blowing up life-size. You didn't know Victoria. You'd meet this woman who went through the Food What program at UCSC and now is changing the way people think about food in Watsonville through her activism, and she's, 18, 19? So these are ways we're taking the risk out for you to come try new things. Thank you. I love Todd. Ever since we were kids together. One more example I want to give you about that. Motion Pacific next month, we're bringing the Cider Sisters. It's a duo dance artists doing beautiful, really profound and innovative work in dance and dance for the camera. Has anybody here heard of them? Of course not. Nobody in the dance community here has heard of them, but they're really amazing. They're not from here. We're bringing them to town. Daniel Molnar is a local dance artist who's also a filmmaker. You may have heard of Daniel last year. He had a project he did called Dance 52, where he made a different dance movie every week for the year. Daniel has a following locally. A lot of people know him and know his work. He's very clever, very creative. So he's sharing the bill with them. So people who will come to see Daniel will get introduced to the Cider Sisters, and their minds will be blown because they're amazing, and then we'll connect to a relationship. So that's a lot of what we do to take the risk out of. I want to ask you about some events that have happened this week. And I want you to ask yourself, did I go to these events? And if so, why did you go? And if you didn't, what kept you? If you didn't know about it, had you have known about it, would you have gone? And why or why not? And all of these events, a lot of these events are designed to take out the risk for you as the participant to come and get involved in that culture. Open Studios, for example, is going on. Have people gone to Open Studios? Okay, similar to First Friday, it's a really easy entry. You know, you maybe hit a dozen, half a dozen artists. You know, not all of them are going to blow your mind, but you might have that connection. When you went to Open Studios, did you go to the artists you already knew? Or did you try new artists, right? Did you go out and try something that you weren't familiar with, weren't necessarily comfortable with? How about Restaurant Week? Anybody go out to eat? Restaurant Week, it's another really great event designed to reduce your risk of going out to try a new restaurant. When you went to Restaurant Week, did you go to your favorite restaurant or did you try something new? Go to downtownsantacruz.com, scroll down, sign up for our email list, right? We'll send you stuff going on downtown. Pick up the Good Times, the Weekly, the Sentinel, look through the events, but when you're looking, see if you're skipping over the stuff that's not familiar to you. Give yourself a second to say, okay, could this be interesting? And try and go outside of your comfort zone and see something you wouldn't normally go because you don't already know what it is, right? And I guarantee you, maybe not the first time or second time, but it will pay off and you'll have a great experience. I guarantee you. Thank you so much. I'm Chip, and I will see you at the show.